Bird Sky on the beat.
Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow.
Guys, you are welcome back to Yobo Live Series, and this is episode 2 of Yobo Live Series. Today we are going to have a discussion on racism, and with me in the studio is Mr. William Boza. He's from Ascenda, a past student of Ascenda SDA Primary and JHS, a past student of Ensign Senior Secondary School. As I said earlier, we are going to discuss about racism. As you know, racism has been a recent topic or discussion worldwide. So before we meet our guest speaker, I would like to acknowledge our sponsors. We have His Majesty Guest House located at Ascenda in the Elembele district of the Western region, and we have Adom Store in Ascenta. Viewers, let's meet our guest. William, how are you?
I'm great.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for coming to our studio this evening to have a discussion on racism. And I think a lot of people are going to benefit from this very discussion.
Sure.
All right, so can you tell us about racism? What is racism?
Racism, when you talk about racism, we are talking about abusing somebody based on his color,
Okay,
his background, or where the person is from.
all right. So thank you for that. All right, so I have some few questions to ask you based on racism. I know recently George Floyd was a victim of racism in America. So I want you to tell us more that are we Ghanaians also part of racism? Are Ghanaians facing racism outside the country?
Sure. Ghanaians like George Floyd, who is an American, are actually abused in other countries. Most especially the Asian and the American side of the world, Ghanaians are racially abused. Of which we have evidence and examples of Ghanaians.
Okay, can you go deep?
Yeah, let me give you at least 3 of them
Okay.
who are famous and legends in Ghana, but yet they were racially abused.
Oh,
This is evidence. It's not good. Let me mention our current player, Suleiman Terry, who was racially abused in Italy. And what is abhorrent is his team that he was playing for couldn't help fight for what he was accused of, which is not good. A legendary playing for Ghana and playing for an Italian club team. A taxpayer has been racially abused. In an interview with CNN, Muntari said he was treated like a criminal.
Really?
A criminal.
This is interesting. I want to hear more of that story.
And he said it is difficult as a Ghanaian, as a black person, to play in Italy, which is not good. And Kevin Presboatin too was racially abused, which affected the match that was played, a friendly match. It couldn't end because of racial issues. AC Milan had to end the match on the 26th minute because the fan for the team was chanting against Kevin Presboatin.
So
Because
all this fight was based on racism.
It was
because
based
of
on racial background. When you read about them, it is evidential. The fans, what they were saying and what they were doing was particularly meted out to Kevin Presboatin, which is a call for Ghanaians to arise. Am I lying?
We have to arise.
Who is Kevin Presboatin? He's a Ghanaian.
Yeah, he's a Ghanaian. So
Muntari is a Ghanaian. And one most threatening thing is one player called Solomon Opoku. He was called a monkey. He's a Ghanaian.
This is so bad.
Because of his color. So racism is a call to Ghanaians to also arise and speak to the world that we must end racism. All human beings should be what? Treated equally. Because we were all created by God. Even science declares that all humans are 99.9% equal. then why are we being subjected to racism? So, Sinabis, from all angles, Ghanaians, we are all involved in the fight against racism. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. William. I think this is some factual proofs that Mr. Williams are really bringing out, talking about the 99.9% of all human beings being equal. So, viewers, as you are listening, we are all equal. I will move on to our next question. Mr. William, how can we as Ghanaians help fight racism? I'm talking about worldwide.
Okay. Ghanaians can subscribe and comment on racial videos, interviews, and things that are done to fight against racism.
So you mean as we are doing right
As we are doing, Ghanaians should, they should give more comment, subscribe, and tell the world that we also do not agree that human beings should be treated unequal. But Sinabis, you get me? Because me and you are all victims. Because we are what? Blacks. Another way is Ghanaians should speak out on unconscious racial abuse. Like if you want to buy something from a white man's store and he refuses selling it to you because you are black, you see it as a menial racial abuse. But you should be speaking out so the world will what? We hear. Yeah. Otherwise, only the famous people who have been racially abused will be the ones that will get to know. But there are thousands of Ghanaians out there in the streets of other countries who have been racially abused on menial things.
So I think, Mr. William, I have to thank you very much because you are bringing out some points, and I would like to encourage Ghanaians to really take this point very seriously, so we can help in the fight of racism.
Yeah.
Because it is something that is really worrying the world, and I think as Ghanaians we have to help fight racism. Okay. So before I ask the last question for this discussion, I would like us to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll discuss more about racism. Stay tuned, we'll be right back to continue our discussion.
But I want to give you some.
Viewers, you are welcome back to the show. Before I continue, I would like to acknowledge His Majesty Guest House, who is a proud sponsor of this show. So His Majesty Guest House has affordable rooms. We have kings and queens size beds. We have restaurants here, and we have a very clean environment. Adom Store sponsoring this show. Adom Store is also located at our center. If you need electrical appliances, anything about electrical aspect, you come to Adom Store. We have agrochemicals, is it Ajumawura, Parakin, everything that you need, just come to our center and locate Adom Store. So we are moving to our last question. Mr. William, I want to ask we as Ghanaians to help fight racism.
Sure. It has been one of my main things to promote
the fight of racism.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ghanaians, it's like a duty for us.
Okay.
To help fight against
racism. Okay. So Mr. William, can you go deep into that?
Yeah. Let's take it from here. See, the global nature of racism cannot be disemphasized or overemphasized.
Okay.
So if you are Ghanaian and you are fighting against racism, it doesn't mean you are here. So you don't face racial abuse. You are fighting for other Ghanaians who are outside the country.
Okay.
Because racism is what? Worldwide. There isn't any part of the world that there isn't a Ghanaian or an African or black person. So a fight from a Ghanaian against racism. It's a fight for a Ghanaian out there. Okay. So it's a must for us to also fight against racism. Another reason.
Okay.
We have a generation and generations to what? To come.
Okay.
So we've been helped fighting racism now. It will be a historical event in our lifetime. That between these ages, that was when racism was what? Ended.
Right.
Then we also fall within that part of what? Age. And one main point is that because of the death of George Floyd.
Okay.
Do you know whites are helping fighting racism?
Well,
that is one interest that I've gotten in the fight against racism. So if somebody who has not been subjected to racial abuse is fighting against it, how then more you that will be racially abused? What should you do? It's a call, a duty for you to arise and what? Address. So it's a must for a Ghanaian and blacks to emphasize to fight against racism. I want to list some two guys who also murdered because of their color. One, George Floyd. He was killed by a policeman in America, in Minneapolis. Eric Garner. He was also killed by a policeman in America. So, with this few, I think it's evidential. So, Senior BC, it's like Ghanaians, it's a must for us to fight against racism. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. William. I think we've had a broad discussion on racism. And as we speak today, I know there is going to be a change.
Sure.
Yeah, there
we
is
are
going to
expecting
be
a great change.
Because I was even surprised seeing whites fighting against racism.
Then why should we sit down?
I think that was very interesting. It was very interesting. So viewers, this is the end of our discussion for episode 2 on Yobo Live series. Before we leave the show, let me acknowledge our proudly sponsors, His Majesty Guest House and Adom Store. See you next week. Bye-bye.
I go get them tomorrow.